Tessa from Mama's Geeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. Hey guys, I'm Tessa with MamasGeeky.com. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time today. Really appreciate it. The show looks like so much fun. I have a 9 and 10-year-old and they're like all for this. They can't wait. One of the things they really wanted me to ask about was that in the trailer, just in the trailer alone, you guys get so messy. Can you talk about like all of the chaos that must have been on set?
Oh, yes. This show definitely has its fair share of messes. I mean, you can't have a Nickelodeon show without some Nickelodeon slime, right? So for sure, we have a lot of big gags. It's super cool to be a part of those. They take a long while to shoot and they're very difficult and, take a lot of brilliant minds to put together. But it's absolutely breathtaking seeing them come together, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch on screen.
I'm sure it is. Christopher, can you talk a little bit about all the messes?
Yeah, I mean, it's so fun. I mean, even we would get incredibly messy on set and then have to go take a shower after that. But I mean, just getting to go through that process and seeing how the special effects team comes up with these things, the way they can it's written on paper and then they can make it real life. And that's what's so cool about it. So getting to have all these messes, whether it's something food related or maybe it's just something gross that shouldn't be there and it gets covered in it. It's so fun. Definitely a crazy experience because Nickelodeon gets it covered in that slime stuff. Something I definitely dreamt of as a kid.
That's awesome. Now, speaking of you dreaming of this as a kid, being a part of this, what is it like to be part of a Nickelodeon show?
And I grew up with Nickelodeon between Drake and Josh, Victorious, iCarly. They were my childhood. Every day after school, I would come put Nickelodeon on, watch it while I did my homework, which probably shouldn't do, but I would do that. And it was my childhood. Definitely got sad every time any of those shows ended, and just getting to be a part of that and hopefully being a part of another child's childhood is such a great gift. And definitely an honor to be a part of it.
That's so awesome. Yeah. What about you, Ariana?
Same here. I mean, I grew up watching Nickelodeon, all those same shows that Chris mentioned, iCarly, Victorious, Drake and Josh, SpongeBob, The Fairly Odd Parents, Drake and Josh. If I said Drake and Josh already, Big Time Rush, all those shows. It was my entire life. So to now be on a Nickelodeon show is super surreal and such a cool moment for me, totally geeking out over that. And I'm super grateful for it. And, to be part of something, like Chris said, that kids will get to grow up with and cherish for years to come is just a blessing.
Yeah, I know my family's really, really looking forward to watching this. It looks like a show we're going to be able to enjoy as a family together, which is what Nickelodeon, I feel like, does so well with their shows, is it's fun for the adults too. But for those who don't know anything at all about Warped, how would you describe it to them?
Yeah, so Warped follows Milo, who is sort of the head geek and employee at a comic book store called Warped. And he thinks that he's the only person fit to work at Warped and that he can't really be replaced. And then Ruby, who is very loud and excitable, shows up into his life and is newly hired to work at Warped. And she sort of challenges him a little bit. And although they butt heads at the beginning, they join forces to create the next greatest graphic novel. And they're joined in all of their adventures by Darby, who is a creative, intelligent, and fashion-forward cosplay-loving girl who hopes to start her own fashion line one day, as well as Hurley, who works at the pizza shop called OK Pizza upstairs and has his own dreams of becoming the world's next greatest chef.
So, Christopher, are you anything like Hurley? Are you a good cook, or do you like to cook?
Oh yeah, I'm a big cooking person. It was so funny when I was auditioning for Hurley, reading the description that, he loves pizza and all this. Something my parents always told me was that they think I was Italian in a past life because I'm always eating Italian food and cooking it. My dad and we both love we love making pizza. That's something that we actually do here. So being Hurley was very similar to my life, even though there's different decisions I would make if I was Hurley. But no, we definitely have that same love for food. So it was definitely really cool to portray him.
That's awesome. Now, Ariana, are you anything like your character?
Yeah, we definitely have our similarities and our differences. We're both total geeks. We embrace the nerddom 100%. I'm also very much into fashion. I love fashion. I've never designed my own clothes. I've upcycled a few things, but never like designed anything from scratch. But that's something I'd love to do in the future. Our styles also are a little different, but there are definitely things that I would love to borrow from Darby's closet. She is also a little more blunt and forward than I am. I try to think before I speak or act a little more than she does. But also, I'm a huge fan of superheroes and comics, definitely part of the fandom. However, she might beat me at a game of comic book trivia. I mean, this girl really, really knows her stuff.
Sounds like I would get along with her very well. If you can't tell from the name MamasGeeky, I'm a massive geek, massive comic book fan. So I would love to know, Ariana, what are like some of your comics that you're reading right now or that you suggest for people to check out?
Yeah, well, growing up, I remember reading Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That was always like one of my favorites. I've also always loved Guardians of the Galaxy, all the Avengers comics. Those were always my favorites. Yeah, right now I'm watching Avatar on Nickelodeon, which I'm absolutely loving. Chris and I are watching it together. Like I'm a little ahead of Chris right now, but I'm waiting for him to catch up so we can finish the show together. And that's a show that I definitely highly recommend.
That's so funny because my family's just started watching that as well. And then also it's funny you mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy because I have a full Guardians of the Galaxy sleeve tattoo. So they're like my favorite.
Is amazing. That is so cool.
they're like one of my favorites. And then of course the movies from James Gunn just are phenomenal as well.
Awesome.
Christopher, I'd love to know if you read comics and if you do, which ones are your favorites?
Yeah, I mean, before COVID, my brother and I would always go to comic book conventions. So I would definitely grab my hand of comics. I just started Spider-Man Noir. Just got it. So got to see how that is. I'm excited to read that. But yeah, I'm a big fan of comic books and like comic book movies as well. So also like being on this set where there's real comic books that we can actually grab and read was so cool because I would also learn more by reading comics that are on the set.
That's so cool. They have like a whole ton of
yeah, it's like a real comic book store, and you just get to read it whenever.
That is awesome. I would never even be like available to do my scenes. I'd be like, I'm sorry, I need to finish this comic book group.
Well, sometimes we even got to read them during the scenes because sometimes we had to like just be engaged in an activity, and so why not just pick up a comic and start reading?
That's perfect. I love it. Now, did you guys film during the pandemic?
We filmed during the pandemic, which was super weird because we had to be wearing masks and face shields the whole time. And, every time we had to like pass along an object from one person to the next, it got sprayed down and we were scared to we didn't know when we could, pass things along. And it was very bizarre and it was very strange, but we're very lucky that we had an incredible COVID compliance team that helped keep us safe. And we never had to shut down during the course of our filming the series. So we're really grateful for that.
Yeah, that's great. Christopher, did that cause any like challenges for you?
It was sometimes tough because we would wear these KN95 masks with like goggles or shields and it would fog up. We would often make jokes with this because like we would be speaking, we have the goggles on and then we're in the middle of doing a scene, we just take it off, wipe our glasses, put it back on, resume the scene. But no, we're incredibly grateful for the COVID compliance team because they kept us all safe. We got to get through an entire season with no breakthrough cases. Definitely something I've never gone through, but it was definitely an experience and so grateful that we were able to get through it.
Yeah, that's good because I know a lot of you see all the time like such and such shut down production, this one shut down production. So that's great that you guys didn't have to do that. So Ariana, I think I read that you like to sing. Is that right?
That would be correct.
Do we get to see you sing in Warped at all?
I don't know. You'll have to watch and find out. I will say that it's often hard for Darby to kind of put herself out there, and she's sometimes more comfortable cosplaying than when she's being herself. And so something I'm really excited for fans to see is to see her step out of her comfort zone and try something she's never tried before. Is it singing? I don't know. Maybe not. You'll just have to watch and find out.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to it. Now, Christopher mentioned he'd gone to Comic-Cons before. Had you ever gone to a Comic-Con before?
I have not been to Comic-Con before. I've been to like a few conventions like here and there, but never to Comic-Con. What I love about what I get to do about, with acting is that through portraying different roles, I sometimes find new passions and interests, and cosplaying and, the world of comics is something that I've always, been interested in, but it's something that I never had complete exposure to, I feel like. So once I got the role, I really dove in and researched more about it. And I just realized how awesome it is. And I told my castmates that once it's safe, of course, that we all need to cosplay together and go to Comic-Con together. That would be so fun.
Oh, that'd be so fun. Christopher, have you ever cosplayed before?
I haven't cosplayed. I don't know why I haven't, but I definitely should. But that's one of the cool things about going to those conventions is you see these crazy costumes. I feel like Darby would definitely crush it if she went to like these conventions. She would come up with some crazy costume. But no, cosplaying is definitely on my bucket list. And Ariana, yes, the four of us need to cosplay and go to a comic book convention for sure.
Listen, and then film it and then make it part of an episode.
And then make it an episode. Exactly.
I mean, so then it's work. So it's okay.
No, we can do that.
And to call that work.
I know, right? It's so hard. Such a hard job, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. Real quick, before we wrap up, I just want to know what you hope families, kids, just everyone takes away from Warped.
Yes. So what I love about our show is that it really celebrates every individual's unique qualities, all of your quirks, all of your idiosyncrasies, all those things that make you you. The show really highlights that and makes it so that normal simply means just being your very best self, whatever that authentically means for you. And I love that. Warped is all about making it so that normal just means different, and what is normal anyway? So I love the fact that, Warped is such a welcoming environment. I hope that Warped World sets an example for what our entire world should look like, very accepting and appreciative of each other's differences and unique qualities. And I hope that kids feel that self-assurance and affirmation when they're watching our show, and that they can be their very best selves.
You got anything to add, Christopher?
Yeah, I just really hope the show can show like the power of friendship, because it's all about these four different characters who are so different, but so the same, if that makes sense. It's kind of like they all will use their different characteristics to work together to solve these problems that they go through. And I think it's just all about that power of that uniqueness, and that anything is possible, because, Milo and Ruby, they aspire to create this greatest graphic novel, and they'll work together, even though they're completely the opposite. They'll use that to their advantage to like boost this and make it successful. And I think that's what's important for kids and families to see, is that anything is possible, no matter what the circumstances. And even if it's this power of this friend group that are so different, they'll work together and they'll always find a way. I
love that. I love that so much. And I can't wait to check this show out with my kids. Like I said, I have 9 and 10-year-old daughters, and we watched the trailer and they were like, this looks like so much fun. I will say they were also like, I think I know that girl from Ricky, Nikki, Dick, whatever that show was. So they're big fans. So
thank you. Oh, that's cool.
I always get it wrong. I'm like, it's Nikki, Ricky, and then 2 other ones. I don't know.
Nikki and Doug. You got it.
There you go. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wait for them, for you, and for everyone to watch it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much to all of my monetary supporters, my members here on YouTube, as well as my patrons. If you haven't joined yet, please consider doing so. We have some really awesome perks, including a monthly Zoom meeting where we get to talk face to face. Thank you again to everyone who supports me.